Behind me, you see Penumbra, the world's first solar utility vehicle, which was constructed by students at Iowa State University over the past 2 years. Upon landing in Australia, we've had a lot of hardship, but it was a great learning experience for the team. It turns out airplane rides can be quite bumpy, so almost all the electronics inside the car, unfortunately, were not working when we went to drive on the road. So the electrical team and mechanical teams stayed up for basically 4 days trying to figure out the electrical system inside the car and make sure that it could function on the road. So while this was a huge amount of time and a huge learning effort, we were able to get the vehicle running on the road and cruising down the Australian outback.
We came to Australia and we traveled all the way up across the outback to do some testing, and then we started in Darwin, came around about 42 other teams from across the globe and crossed a continent, about 3,000 kilometers. And Iowa State has had the honor and the pleasure of coming here for the first time in school history. So when you're racing across a continent like Australia, it's a desert. So there's nothing for miles whenever you're driving. It's quite desolate, except for small towns, you know, how many 100 kilometers. So whenever you're racing in an environment like that, you want to make sure that your car is going to be dust-proof, it's going to be waterproof, because we definitely have encountered a lot of rain when we're in the middle of the outback. And then in terms of strategy, cloudy days can definitely be a hindrance whenever you're crossing the outback, because you want to conserve as much energy as possible, because it's not like your regular commute driving. It's a challenge to see how far you can get in a single day. When we approached the design of this vehicle, we want it to be a utility vehicle, so lots of space, a hatch, able to put anything and everything in the back. A lot of our competition built very aerodynamic cars, which allowed them to go more efficiently down the road, faster speeds, and finish the race, you know, in a more efficient time period. But with that, there's a trade-off, because there's not as much space. If you want to make a light vehicle, you know, there's the things that you give up, and it's harder to fit some of those other daily items in a solar car like that, just because you're in this constant battle with aerodynamics. Us as a team, we decided to move away from aerodynamics in the rear so we could have a functional hatchback.
We've been showing off the vehicle to other teams in the area also. That's one of the coolest things about this competition. Not only are we students competing against each other, but you have this camaraderie from people from around the globe, which might not be speaking the same language, but they're speaking the same language of solar car and innovation. And that's what you see behind you. It's a bunch of students working extremely hard to change the paradigm of transportation.
Prism is based on outreach. It's part of our mission statement to go and inspire. So our members have just been visiting and letting anyone and everyone sit in this vehicle, because we wanted to build a vehicle that was durable and anyone could just walk up, open the door, sit down, and go and be on their way. So we've had, you know, been explaining and answering questions. People have been asking, is this feasible? And the best part, and when somebody says, is this feasible someday? We say yes. And you know, it's our mission to change the paradigm, and we came to Australia, you know, to compete, but we also came to influence the world. We came to show that we're doing something different at Iowa State, and that we mean business, and we want to show the world that solar technology can be a feasible future.
Having to ship a car halfway across the globe and also construct one has been a huge experiential learning opportunity for every member on the team. 2 years ago, there was a blank sheet of paper, and we were able to pull the resources that we learned in class to construct Penumbra, what you see behind us. Then, we used different disciplines from throughout campus to actually ship the car over here. Fundraise, make sure we had food every night at the end of the race, and learn about international logistics, because shipping lithium ions is a very difficult task, we found out. But the coolest thing is too, we aren't the only students doing this. Every other team here are students from other countries who might not speak the same language as us, but we're able to meet up and become best friends over the language of solar car. So we're building lifelong friendships over building vehicles and trying to change that paradigm of transportation.
So it's definitely been an interesting experience exiting the US and coming to Australia. It's my first time, but I really compare Australia a lot to the Midwest, the culture, because everyone is so friendly, welcoming. Any kind of question we had, because we came in with some weird questions sometimes for some of these people, and everyone's always willing to help and assist. So really, I believe it's important for students to get out there no matter how they can and experience different cultures and the world, because it makes you into a better person.
Team Prism cannot thank our sponsors enough for the opportunity to come down to Australia and show the entire world what Iowa is capable of. Behind you is a group of students that were funded by donors, companies, and sponsors to come down here and race across the continent. And we can never thank them enough for allowing us to pursue our dreams. Because when you're sitting in a classroom and you dream the undreamable, they're able to give us the resources to make it a reality. So we cannot thank them enough for actually supporting us, getting us down here, and allowing us to race.